Wonderhussy here. Do you like my new organ? That's right, as if things couldn't get any freakier here at the Death Valley compound, we now have an organ in our Quonset hut. Why not? Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. Gee, Wonderhussy, you've already got a Quonset hut full of old hot rod parts that you don't know what to do with. Why'd you have to go and get an organ on top of it? Well, it's actually an interesting story. There's a big festival going on in town right now. Matter of fact, let's take a walk down the road here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a big old party happening right here in the town where I live, right down the street from my house this weekend, called the Takeover. Okay, it's a big kind of hippy-dippy jam band music festival where a bunch of bands come out and they play that kind of Grateful Dead style hippie music, and a bunch of hippies come out. They bring their kids, they bring their drums, they bring their dogs. There's fire and hula hooping and, well, all kinds of stuff going on. And believe it or not, it's all going down right at the end of the street here. Who'da thunk? You move out to the middle of nowhere to get away from all the crazies, and they show up on your front doorstep anyway. Okay, like I said, the name of this festival is the Takeover, and you can see that this is the 9th one. Number nine. Anyway, some artist friends of mine from Vegas came out and built this effigy, which they're going to burn on Saturday night. Okay, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might remember last year they built a giant wooden mushroom that we were storing in our Quonset hut until they dragged it out here and lit it on fire for the Takeover last year. This year, well, you might be wondering what that organ in our Quonset hut has to do with this festival. Well, this year, these friends of mine, they're good friends, they happen to have a surplus of organs. That's right, I'm not sure how they came to have a surplus of organs, but they have so many of them that they're gonna burn this one right here. That's right, this whole organ is gonna get burned on Saturday night. It's a real shame because it's a beautiful organ. Oh, this is a pump organ, which means I guess you gotta pump these pedals to get it to play. Oh, look at that. Wow, I didn't realize you had to keep pumping those things the whole time you play this. This gives me a lot of respect for the leg power of all those little old organ playing church ladies. That's no joke. Anyway, they put the organ in this wooden kind of framework thing just so that it looked kind of more, I don't know, ceremonial, I guess, when they burn it. And then they have these Sharpies hanging here. I think that's so like everybody can write their name on one of the pieces of wood, so it's kind of like a community burn thing. In fact, I might as well go ahead and write my name on it now. Now they'll know I was here. I guess the idea behind burning this thing is they're hoping that when the fire gets big enough, you know, they built this whole wooden framework around it. Well, you know how when a big fire starts going, like these big, I don't know the terminology, air currents, I guess it creates like a whirlwind of air. And so they're hoping that the hot air will come up through the organ and make some kind of funky noises. Unfortunately, there's not going to be anyone sitting there to be pumping the pedal, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but, well, whoever said any of this was supposed to make sense, it's just for fun. He had a bunch of extra organs. We needed to burn something, and, well, I guess they didn't feel like building a mushroom this year, so an organ it is. You might be able to hear in the background, there's already some music starting to get fired up. There's people setting up a stage over there. There's going to be a whole big mess going on in this area. Starting tomorrow. I'm shooting this right now on Thursday, the day before. Festival's not really supposed to start until tomorrow, Friday, and it'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But there's already a bunch of people rolling in. In fact, I see a couple of my friends' RVs parked over there, and I know I'm not going to have a moment to myself for the next 3 days, so I thought I better shoot this video before all the fun starts. Boy, look at that. You can see the hippies are in town. Look at the mushrooms on that paint job. Love it. Anyway, I thought before all the craziness starts, I should hike up to the top of the hill by the old rugged cross and give you an overview of what this area looks like before the festivities begin. And then I'll try to hike back up there during the high point of the party and show you what I mean when I say, I mean, the name of this festival being the Takeover is no joke. These people completely take over this entire town. But it's not what you would call one of them their hostile takeovers, like a corporate takeover. It's just a bunch of peace-loving hippies that want to come out and have a good time. And so I say to them, come on out, take us over. But anyway, I wanted to hike up here just so I could remind you guys again of how desolate, how small this little town is. I mean, that's where the festival is taking place. And all these RVs that you see down here right now, those are all being stored. No one's staying in them. But down here, well, that's my friends from Vegas that brought us the organ. That little van down there is my friend Victor. And then there's a few other people. I got a friend staying in that purple hippie hut. That's the actual name of that purple trailer on Airbnb, the hippie hut. Anyway, I have another friend who's staying in that trailer. And gosh, before you know it, this entire area is going to be completely covered in buses, vans, tents, and RVs. There's going to be probably at least 1,000 people out here. And most of them are coming from Vegas, but not only Vegas. People are coming from all over the place. This is a pretty well-known festival, I guess, if you're into jam band music. You know, so this whole area in here is going to be completely packed. This whole campground across the street is going to be completely packed. This whole campground over here is going to be completely packed. And, well, I don't know if that campground down there will be completely packed, because that guy's kind of a straight shooting patriot, and he probably doesn't want no truck with any of these crazy mushroom sniffing hippies, but who knows, his place might be packed too. In fact, it might be difficult to find any place at all in town to camp this weekend, and so to that end, oh dear, we have like 7 people that are planning to camp over at our compound. It's gonna be a crazy weekend. I mean, I suppose worst case, I could just go hunker down in the Quonset hut and play the organ in privacy. You know, if I really absolutely have to get away. Ah! Who are you?
Wonderhussy, what are you doing here?
Golly, where did you come from?
I landed from the UK.
Folks coming from as far away as the UK, just to what? Why have you come here?
Well, I got a little bit lost, so I'd intended to go to Vegas and I took the wrong turn and then I ended up on the dirt track.
You ended up at the compound.
The compound and Pahrump. I went via Pahrump today.
Well, good. I'm glad. I mean, you might be the first person from the UK who's ever been to Pahrump, so congratulations.
And I even had to pronounce it. And then the old Spanish trail.
What's your name, sir?
Gemel.
Gemel. Very, very pleased to meet you, Gemel. Wow. What is going to happen next? Okay, scratch that. I guess I'm not going in the Quonset hut for any peace and quiet. This party is going to be out of control. Okay, as promised, I hiked back up here to the old rugged cross on Saturday afternoon, which is pretty much the height of this festival. And so you might be able to tell that there's a lot more cars, trucks, vans, RVs, school buses, dinghies, caves, rafts, speedboats, anything you can sleep in, it's down there. And in fact, there's probably some people who aren't sleeping in anything, just laying out on the cold, hard ground under the stars. Okay, so I probably over-exaggerated a bit when I said there were going to be like 1,000 people here. I think there's maybe 300-400 people, which is still about 3 times as many people as are normally in this town. And like I said, it includes a lot of my friends from Vegas and elsewhere. So I've been having a ton of fun. The only downside is we noticed that somebody vandalized the organ. No, not the organ in our Quonset hut. I'm talking about the organ that I was playing last night. The one they're gonna burn tonight. You know, the ones my friends built that platform around and, well, sort of turned it into a piece of art that's meant to be burned tonight. Well, some hater went down there and not only did they steal the little stool, there was like a little stool you sat on to play the organ. They stole that. They stole the panel that protects the interior of the organ. I don't know if they needed firewood or what, and we have no idea who would do something like that in a small town like this. But we did notice the other night someone had gone up and written graffiti. You know how there's those markers hanging on the side, and those are meant for people to write their names and write messages to loved ones. And, you know, some people in town have some stuff going on in their personal lives. You know, it's just like a cathartic thing. Well, some jagoff went over there and wrote FJB all over it. And we just thought it was kind of funny. Like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's free expression. There's markers saying there, write whatever you want. But do you really have to get political at a party? Come on. So my friends and I, we're just messing around. We turned the F's. I mean, I guess I should say, if you don't know what FJB stands for, consider yourself lucky. You're probably from Europe or elsewhere. It's a anti-Joe Biden statement, okay? It stands for F Joe Biden. Anyway, my friends and I went and changed the F to A and B and like whatever other letters you can change an F into, like attaboy Joe Biden and bravo Joe Biden. I don't know. I mean, look, I think the whole thing is funny, so I ended up writing FJ Cruiser 24. I don't know, maybe that antagonized this person and that's why they went and vandalized the organ. But I don't have time to worry about that right now. I gotta go home and get ready for tonight. This is gonna be some epic party, and I have a feeling I'm gonna wanna drink some tea. No, not that kind of tea, you filthy hippie. I'm talking about the good old-fashioned kind of fancy, traditional British tea. That's right, my sister and I have been cordially and formally invited to tea at the Hippie Hut, which is why I'm all dressed up like a Ray Conniff album cover. Now, you might be wondering, what is the Hippie Hut that I referred to the other day from on top of the hill? Well, it's this purple trailer that you can rent on Airbnb, and there just happens to be someone staying here who knows all about tea. Jules!
Ladies, good afternoon. What a pleasure you've been able to come. I'm so honoured.
Wow, Jules, what an
Thank you.
accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Bristol in the UK.
Jules, you're the second person from the UK I've seen in 2 days. It's a
Get
British
away.
invasion!
Wow.
And look at this beautiful
It's a pleasure
tea!
to be here.
Wow, Jules, what do you have in store?
Well, we do have a little tradition before we have a party,
You have a
A
tradition.
little tradition.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Yes, I'd love
It's a
to.
little song.
Oh, we gotta sing a song?
We've got to sing a
Oh,
song.
I love singing songs. Okay, Jules, lead us with the song. How does it go?
If you're
Yours-
working all
Alone or relaxing, or you're working in a noisy factory, just set yourself free when the clock strikes 3, 'cause everything stops for tea. Everything stops for tea.
Welcome, ladies. Please be seated.
Jules, you are the
There
best.
we go, ladies.
Cheers, Jules. You're a consummate host.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's no tomato sandwiches, but the party's about to start. So I'm drinking some more tea. Salut. Oh, that was some party. You'll have to forgive me for looking a little rough today, but I was up till all hours dancing under the stars with the most interesting and eclectic group of hippies, weirdos, and astronauts. And it was amazing, and I had a great time. But unfortunately, the party's over. You can maybe see that most of the RVs, buses, and vans have rolled on out of here back to Vegas in parts unknown. And now it's time for me to get back to work. Oh dear, I can't get a moment's peace. Even up here at the old rugged cross, I've got people coming up to bother me. You rode your bike up this trail?
I had to push it up the last part.
Wow, how was it?
It was tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might remember my friend Scott from the A12 hike.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Veterans Day, Scott.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh my God. Say what you will about Scott, but at least he takes his fitness very seriously. He was up as late as I was and probably drank 10 times more. And here he is riding his mountain bike all over the desert. I wish I had that enthusiasm for a sport. Unfortunately, my only enthusiasm is for work and making videos. And to that end, I better follow Scott back to the ranch and show you what I've been working on lately. Because I know what some of you are probably thinking. Gee, Wonderhussy, you sure do party a lot. No wonder you're always so tired. No wonder you don't have enough time in the day to get things done. All you ever do is drink and dance and party. Well, that is absolutely not the case, I assure you. This past weekend was an anomaly. Prior to this, I've been very busy. I'll show you guys something I've been working on a lot lately that I finally finished. This has been taking a ton of my time and energy lately. Over here in my office, let's just open up my laptop and take a look at, dun dun dun, my brand new website. Finally, I've been working on this since, oh gosh, I think it was back in April that I got busted by YouTube for talking about my magic beans, and it made me realize, because I got shut down and I wasn't able to post for a week, I need to have a different place where I can post online that's not subject to the puritanical whims of some mega corporation. So I thought it would be a good idea to revamp my own website as a place where my viewers could go if I do happen to get blocked from YouTube again for some reason in the future, and you're wondering what happened to me. Well, now there's a place you can go to get all the latest Wonderhussy information. So check it out, wonderhussey.com. I basically am going to blog. I wrote a couple blog posts already. You can come check them out for yourself, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make it into my YouTube videos every week. You know, I have this one guy who's always complaining that my videos are too long, so I'm always trying to edit them down as short as I can, and there's always inevitably a bunch of pretty interesting stuff that doesn't make the final cut. So, you know, I'll put little behind the scenes photos and tidbits about, like this was about my video when Mike Z came out to visit us. There's some background information on that. There's some pictures that I didn't end up using in the video, so you can come to the website to read my blogs. Check that out. I'm also going to write a monthly newsletter with more information that you can sign up for on the bottom right corner on the website if you're so inclined. You know, it'll just be like a newsletter with the latest of what's going on in the world of Wonderhussy. One viewer suggested I call it the Hussington Post. So in addition to reading my blog, seeing my behind-the-scenes photos, and signing up for my newsletter, well, there's another thing you can do on this website, and that is you can buy my merch. No, not the Magic Bean merch, although you can buy that too. I have a whole line of brand new hats, t-shirts, mugs, everything you could think of with my new logo on. Look at that, I got a new logo. Okay, you know how I'm always wearing this, well, it was a mobile gas hat to begin with. I used to go to that mobile gas station on US 395 that has the really fancy gourmet deli inside it, the Whoa Nelly Deli in Lee Vining. And I got this hat there, which I really liked, and I ended up wearing it a lot in a bunch of videos, and I just liked the way it looked on me. So it started to get pretty dirty, as you can see, soiled. And I only really like these foam mesh style trucker hats. I'm really weird about my head. I feel like I have a small head, which I know isn't true. I have a giant Jack-in-the-Box size head, but I feel like I have a small head, so I don't really like to wear regular ball caps, you know, like canvas twill ball caps. I only like these big old-fashioned foam ones. Anyway, you can't really wash the foam kind very well. They fall apart, so this was getting real dirty. I went back to the mobile gas station 3 times last summer to try and buy a new one, but they didn't have the color I wanted. I like this navy blue. Well, all 3 times I went there, and it's not exactly around the corner, if you know what I mean. They didn't have the hat I wanted, so I thought, well, screw it. I'll just make my own hat using the mobile gas Pegasus, but I'll just write Wonderhussy. See that? Instead of Lee Vining, the mobile, it says Wonderhussy. Well, then people started emailing me asking, well, where do I get a hat like that? And unfortunately, I couldn't sell these hats because this is the copyrighted mobile gas Pegasus. It's one of the most iconic advertising icons, logos in the world. So I can't sell these hats. So what I did was I had a graphic designer do my own version of the mobile Pegasus, but I completely changed it up. You know, I feel like this fancy thoroughbred Pegasus really doesn't speak to me as much as does a humble donkey. Okay, out here in the desert, the donkey, or the burro, is kind of like our mascot. Because back in the day, the old miners, the prospectors used to have their trusted mule, their trusted donkey, I guess not a mule. Mule's different. But they had a donkey that would carry all their gear, their pick, pan, and shovel, all their cans of beans and Prince Albert and their bottles of liquor, all the way up to their little mine camp where they would then spend the next 3 months picking at the ground, looking for gold. Well, they used these little burros to carry all that crap up there for them. And then when the automobile was invented and the burros weren't needed anymore, they just turned them all loose to fend for themselves. So to this day, there's still thousands probably of feral burros roaming all around the Mojave Desert and the desert Southwest. So I thought I would make that my logo. So it's well, because it's me, it's a donkey with wings and a unicorn horn. And of course, my sunglasses. I don't know, I just feel like I don't take myself seriously enough to be a thoroughbred. I'm just a good old-fashioned, all-American, working donkey. Yeehaw! Remember that TV show? So anyway, I had this graphic designer come up with this logo, and now that logo is available on all manner of products on my online store, which is on my website, wonderhussey.com. Look at that, there's all these pretty photos, all kinds of fun stuff to check out. Take a look, buy a hat, or a shirt if you're so inclined, because guess what? I need to raise some funds right about now. I got real bad news when I was in Vegas last week. You might remember if you watched my video where I went down in those tunnels under the Vegas Strip talking about the Formula One race that's coming to town. Well, I was there because I was waiting for my mechanic to diagnose what was wrong with my car. And it did not turn out to be good news. Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details of what's going on with this rig, but suffice it to say, I went to get my tires rotated a couple weeks ago. And you know I don't mess around when it comes to my tires. I get these BF Goodrich KO2s that cost like almost $400 per tire. You probably remember the whole debacle. I just bought a whole brand new set back in January at great expense and great hassle. And when I went to get them rotated, the left rear, driver's side rear tire was completely bald on the inside. Just on the inside, and just on that one tire, the driver's side rear tire. All the other tires were just fine, but that driver's side rear tire was so bald on the inside that the road hazard warranty didn't even cover it anymore. Okay, I paid $40 per tire to have a road hazard warranty. That way, if I ever get a flat tire or something happens to the sidewall, they'll replace the tire for free. Well, this one had gone so bald, I guess there's a certain tread level it has to have for the warranty to still be effective. And it was below that point. So I had to shell out a bunch of money for a new tire after just buying that one in January. And so I thought, well, gee, that's not right. Why is one of my tires going bald? Okay, I went and had the alignment adjusted. And the guy who did the alignment said, yeah, there's something wrong with your suspension back there. It's wonky. You need to get that looked at. So I brought it into my mechanic, and after a long day of diagnostics, oh my gosh, this was a week ago, and I already kind of forgot. There's a bunch of stuff wrong with the suspension. The front lower control arms need replacing. The bushings are cracked. The springs in the back, he thinks the springs in the back are sagging, and that might be what's causing that one tire to wear unevenly. Because I've noticed this for quite some time, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell here, but my car kind of lists to one side. It's lower on that side than it is on that side. It just leans. And I've noticed it doing that for quite some time. I asked my mechanic about it, and he said, oh, that's normal. Toyotas are notorious for leaning to one side. Problem is, they usually lean to this side because that's where all the heavy stuff is, the gas tank and everything. Mine's leaning the other way. So my mechanic thinks the springs in the back might have been blown out, and he was going to order new springs. But then I reminded him that, oh, wait a minute, remember you ordered those Bilsteins for me back in June? He still has that whole kit. It finally came in. So he's going to basically he's going to redo my entire suspension tomorrow. And I asked him, like, just so I kind of knew ahead of time how much it was going to cost. He said he ballpark estimated $2,500. But I have to do it because, golly, I'm out of videos, man. I need to go back out into the field and shoot more content, and I can't really take these rough dirt roads with my suspension all wonky. And so, yes, I'm dumping $2,500 more into a car that has 180,000 miles on the odometer already. I'm questioning my sanity. I did ask. Actually, my mechanic brought that up. He goes, yeah, you know, the car's getting older, $2,500. He seemed to think it was worth putting that into the car. I mean, I guess, of course, he's going to say that because he's collecting the money from me, but I don't know. I trust him. I've been going to him for a long time. He seemed to think the car had plenty of life left in it, and it was worth doing. That being said, my friend Scott also gave me some advice, aka mansplaining, that, well, what I should do is, you know, go get the suspension fixed up, get the Bilsteins put on, get it looking nice, detailed, and then get rid of it and buy a new one. I really don't want to buy a new car because there is plenty of life left in this one on the engine. The body is another story. The suspension, the body, it's all sustained a lot of wear and tear over these past, what, 6 years that I've been driving it. Gosh, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it might be time to start thinking, at least, about getting a new one. But I certainly don't want to think about that now with all this other stuff going on. I'm going to take it into Vegas first thing in the morning. I'm going to have him repair it for now. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do later. I got to make some videos, sell some hats, and hopefully some magic beans. So I can either pay for this car or get another one. That's life.